everyone, Martin here, and welcome to the Inner Loop. And boy, have we got some loop for you. This new project is called Cake. What I wanted to do with this project was look at sort of plastic deformation. So trying to model how the plasticky things slowly deform. And what I had in mind was cake, because everybody likes cake. So something like one of these Bakewell tarts. What kind of fascinates me is the way that you take the base material and then you add on some colour and then you kind of strike through it and create this kind of pattern in the material. I wanted to model that and see if I can model that in some code. I've had a bit of a go at it, and with some interesting results, which I'll show you now. And then I'll talk a little bit about the algorithm I've developed so far and where I think it needs to go next. So let's look at some of the videos I've already made. First one is called Goo. Here it comes. Over. What I started with is like this is just a single height. This is like a single height plane, and it starts at a random height. But then slowly, what I've used is like the square root power. So if somebody's 100 higher than you, then 10 of your things will move over into their area, and so slowly over time the thing levels out. I kind of quite like the way the random nature, the random thing just sort of smears itself out. Then I added these falling balls, so these balls just kind of fall through. They're like at a different height, so this is affecting the height of the hole. So this is my first attempt. This uses only a single height parameter, and then I use like a sine wave to create the colours. That's got me some of the way towards what I'm after, but the algorithm really is quite what I wanted. So that's the first try. Second try, now it's getting slightly more complicated. What I've done now is, with the Bakewell tart, what's important is the mixing of the colours. So not only is the height important, because if the thing is to settle down, doesn't it? So when you add the additional colour on, it's going to smear out slightly. What this does, you'll see in this video, is just the smearing of three colours. In the middle, it's at its highest, where three colours are overlaying each other. And so for the middle, it's basically pushing the other colours out. So this kind of works. So you can kind of see it smearing out. So in this last video, I've added like a spiral of four colours, so red, green and blue being added, and it kind of spirals around. It's actually quite satisfying, despite the fact there's some bugs in the algorithm, which I'll talk about in a minute. So here I've recoloured it as well. So what you see here is the three spirals spiralling out, or four spirals spiralling out. It's good to watch here. It's really quite interesting in this area. You can see how it's actually making little waves into the material, which is kind of what you expect. And it's all kind of splodging together. Right, so how does that work? And what am I going to do to take this forwards? So let's get the pen and paper out, and sorry, I broke my glasses. No, it's not very professional. I'll get the epoxy resin out. Oh yeah, I bought a Pi Zero, by the way. And I also bought a teeny it's an analog to digital converter. So my plan for some project very soon is to fit the analog to digital to this and then make like a wireless knobs. So I can have like 4 knobs that are wireless. Don't know if that's going to work. We'll see. Okay, so the current algorithm has makes an assumption. And what it does is it says, let me choose a pixel. Let's say that one. And I'm going to examine the pixels around it. These. I'm going to do the diagonals in a different colour because it examines them slightly differently. And it says, what's my value? So we're examining this pixel. So if my value is, say, I'm quite loaded with stuff, I'm, say, 50. If this guy's 20, then I know that my liquid, or whatever I am, I'm going to move that way. So how much is going to move? So how much moves is really doesn't really matter. I'm just going to say 1/4 of the difference. So if that's 50, that's 20. So it's going to be 30 difference divided by 4. So that's 7.5, isn't it? So 7.5 is going to move that way. Great. Analyse this one. Say 3 moves that way. If this one's 100, then actually 50 divided by 4, 25, 12.5, isn't it? 12.5 is going to move in the opposite direction. And here, something different. Say 3 moves in this direction. These ones are actually slightly further away. So what I've said in the maths is, actually these are √2 further away, or 1/√2 further away. So they follow the same law, so 1/4, but also times by 0.7. So the amount that moves from these outside ones edges is slightly less. Okay, so I've analysed those 8 pixels. What I'll do now is I'll move on to this pixel. So this square is done, and now I have a new value for this guy. And I also have new values for these because I can take away whatever I need to take away. So this is gaining 7.5, this will lose 7.5. So now I'm going to move on to this pixel. And now I'm going to analyse this box and go through the same process again. Some may move in this direction, some may move in that direction. Okay, and then I just systematically go through, and when I've finished, those are my new values, and then I go around the process again, and it goes around thousands and thousands of frames doing that. That's great. The next box is under here, and it will consider these, and then the next box is under here, we'll do these, and the next box is here, and do those. So that works all very well and good, but unfortunately every other one here each one of these pixels and these are actually getting counted twice, because if this one's 50 and this one's 50, it's going to steal from this one, and then it's going to steal from this one. But actually it's not going to steal the same amount, because this guy can't lose as much as you thought, because actually he's going to lose some to here and some to here. But in the process of losing some to here, he's actually not going to be able to lose as much to this one. So there's a bug here in the maths, and that's why the picture doesn't actually work tremendously well. And it's got some funny areas on it because my algorithm isn't quite as it should be. Well, that's enough about the pixels and colours and stuff. You can see the code here, the inner loop. The inner loop for this one is quite huge already, and I think it's going to get bigger. That's really all I want to say about cake for now, and I hopefully look forward to part 2 where I may have some much more interesting videos. Look, my glasses are mended now. It was only a screw. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on part 2.